Good morning. It is such a great morning, and hopefully, that whatever you will learn today, that it will cause a revolution in your own life, and that you will enjoy your life more abundantly. Because I know I am. This is such an honor for me to be here, and for those that are listening, well, thank you for being here. Uh, Today, what we're going to talk about is forgiveness. Now, forgiveness is one of the most important things that you can do in your life. This is a thing that where when somebody has hurt you, when someone has said something negatively towards you, how do you forgive? I'm going to explain all that. But when you do forgive that other person, or thing that has hurt you or circumstance that have hurt you, the most loving thing that you can do for yourself, it's not necessarily for the other person, but it's for yourself. The most loving thing that you can do is to forgive them. And it's not to say that you excuse what had happened per se. You know, we there are consequences to all of our actions. But you have to forgive that person, because if you don't, as the days and months go by, what will happen is that you will start to be reoffended all over again. It's like as if the person is doing the exact same thing, or the particular situation is doing the exact same thing to you as it had happened. So you can go for years with that animus with inside yourself. And unless you forgive, you will continue to hurt people. What will happen? Well, you will continue to hurt yourself. So, as I was saying, forgiveness is the most loving thing that you can do. Not necessarily excusing the bad behavior, somebody lying about your particular situation, causing you to lose a job or whatever, or someone stealing something. Okay, you will take the necessary actions to reclaim what is rightfully yours, but you have to forgive. Now, if you don't forgive, that wound will harden over the years and it will become a part of you. And everything that you say or do will be through that old wound. If you've lost relationships because of that old wounding, because you view your current or future relationships to that old wound, maybe someone has said something to you a long time ago. Well, everything that and every relationship you have will be viewed through that, and it just become a part of you, and you will sabotage every single relation that you have in the future and currently, unless you learn to forgive. There's a saying that's so appropriate in this particular situation: hurt people will hurt other people. So when you are hurt, you will hurt other people. So remember that, okay? That hurt people will hurt people. As an example, when I was a kid, I was teased and I was told negative things, like I would never amount to anything, I was stupid, um, or they would make fun of, because I'm African American, I would be made fun of because of being light skinned, and or I would be called the N word by people that weren't my nationality. And I held on to those resentments. And could remember when I would be doing something unrelated, like working on my yard or driving or something, these thoughts would come up and they had hardened. And every time that these thoughts would come up, and after a period of time, after having these negative thoughts, it was almost like taking a dirty bath. I was initially enjoying those thoughts. Well, I hope so and so they lose their job, or I hope so and so has much misfortune. And this was totally going against what my mother told me when I was a kid. And there's a special lady that came into my life about 20 years ago. Her name was Mary Tierney. She died here back in February. I was with her for 20 years. And my mother telling me, whatever you throw out, that's what you're going to get back. And even though it felt good temporarily to hold on to those thoughts, I was taking a dirty bath. Now, as a result of holding on to those resentments, this is exactly what had happened to me. I gained 140 pounds. Yeah, 140 pounds. And I was weighing over 350 pounds. I don't know how much weight that I had put on, because the scales don't go over 250 pounds, at least at that time. I developed thyroid cancer. Okay. Also, I found out that I had a benign tumor in the brain. So I know this was a result of holding on to resentment. Some people will say, no, it's because of hereditary. Yeah, that might have something to do with it. It could, but there's a cause and effect to everything. Also, someone had lied, which caused me to lose my wife to a stroke. We were married 33 years. Her name was Patricia. If you go on my Facebook page, you will learn a little bit more about her. I lost my house. I lost my car. My daughter wasn't with me for a period of time. Things got so bad, I had to tape up my shoes, my tennis shoes, to get around. So I know, and some people, well, it was just the way life is. No, yeah, it is to some degree, but I exacerbated it by worrying and having a lack of forgiveness. Now, on a physical level, what will happen is that you will produce a certain hormone that will, and hormones are messengers that go to certain organs of the body. Okay, it's a messenger, and it is produced by certain organs. I won't get into the different organs, but this hormone is called cortisol. That's cortisol, cortisol. And when I was having these resentments and I was worrying all the time, it would give me energy, but this is a very destructive energy. Okay. And it's called a stress hormone. And this is what cortisol will do. You will have fatigue, irritability, you will get headaches, you will have intestinal problems, constipation problems, bloating and diarrhea. Oh, just a whole bunch of good things are going to happen to you. And that's exactly what had happened to me. Anxiety or depression, weight gain. Remember, I was saying to you earlier about over 140 pounds, increased blood pressure, low libido, problems with ovulation for women in menstruation cycles. And I'm quite sure there's a lot of people out there that know this particular saying: stress will make you stupid, cloudy thinking, and so forth and so on, and inability to concentrate. But when I learn to forgive, I produce what is called dopamine. And this is called the feel good, the feel, the feel good hormone, which is it sends a message to particular parts of your body. And it's dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. And it's a gives you a pleasurable sensation. It increases your learning ability and your memory and your motor system. Okay. So when you are actually thinking positive thoughts and when you are forgiving, you produce dopamine. And let me go back to the cortisol real quick. This is my opinion, okay? But I know that when you produce cortisol, also, and I hope this is not confusing anybody, but the cortisol is the negative hormone that you're producing. It can break down your heart muscle in your body. So your thoughts, my point is this: our thoughts will affect our physical bodies, not just our mental bodies, but also our physical bodies. Okay. But when we learn to forgive, we start to feel better because we're actually producing a feel good hormone. Plus, we also will produce a hormone called serotonin, serotonin, serotonin. This will allow you to sleep better. Oh boy. And I'm 64, and as you get older, it's harder for you to sleep. But I watch my thoughts. It will help regulate your appetite so you're not overeating. It will allow you to have better digestion, which will allow you to to, to go to the bathroom a lot better. As you get older, you start appreciating those things a lot more. And your learning ability will be better focus, better concentration. And you just feel better. And you learn quickly. Your memory will increase. Now, you're saying, and I can hear you. You're saying, Tom, how do I overcome worry and resentment and anger? In simplicity, there's complexity, and in complexity, there's simplicity. Okay? So simply, what you do is you write your feelings down on paper. There's a saying, and I'm not able to remember where I got it from, but it says our feelings tend to untangle as they flow through our fingertips. Our feelings will untangle as they flow through our fingertips. Okay. Now, also, the most courageous thing that one can do is learn to be vulnerable. It's so important. Being a man, I was raised in this false notion of being macho. No, you hold your feelings in. Well, guess what? I developed thyroid cancer, benign tumor in my brain, was angry and resentful, but I learned that is the worst thing that I can do. That's the reason why I have a lot of friends that happen to be women because I can express my feelings. I have cried, I have been angry, I have been open. And this is the other thing, too. Like Job in the Bible, God was pleased with Job because he was honest with God. He was upset at God. God, why are you allowing this to happen to me? And he was honest. His friends were saying, and his wife was saying, yeah, it's because of what you have done in your life. And why not take God's name in vain? Because look what happened. And he, for to his credit, said, no, I believe in God. And so, in God allowing him to go through these things, this, because God knew what Job was going to do. It wasn't for the benefit of God, it was for the benefit of Job. As a result, Job had a deeper belief in God. Now, I'm a religious man, and even if you're an atheist or agnostic, that's okay. Because in your questioning of whether the existence of God or don't believe in God, the irony is that you will get back to believing in God for whatever reason. You don't have to believe me now, and that's okay. But all I know is that that's what has helped me. Or as another example, Abraham, when he went up to the mountain to sacrifice his son, it wasn't that God didn't know what he was going to do. He knew already. It was for the benefit of Abraham, to show Abraham how much faith he had in God. So all these bad things that I've gone through, it has allowed me to be uh, more faithful to God. My darkest past is my greatest asset. As a matter of fact, I've written a book. I'm looking for a publisher. Written a book called "My Differences Are My Power," because what God is teaching me to do is to be more obedient to Him. So my darkest past is my greatest asset. As a great holy man once told me, a Native American holy man once told me, Satan, get behind me and push, which is the difficulties in our life. So talk to somebody that you trust, cry, get angry, upset. It's okay to be angry with God, but it's not okay to stay angry at God. Okay. Thirdly, it's impossible, physically impossible, to think two thoughts at one time. So when a negative thought comes in, immediately switch your thoughts. So when someone had lied and caused me to lose my wife, my car, house, and me taping up my shoes, instead of being angry with them, which I knew it would hurt me and it would produce all of these, that bad hormone called cortisol, I immediately switched my thought and I said, may they have as many blessings as I do. God and I love you. At first, I didn't feel it, but as time goes along, I am able to feel forgiveness. If I saw the people that had lied, I would say, may God and I have a blessing on you and your family. Because I hope people that have hurt me, they experienced the great love and light that I've been able to experience. It is just a joy. I have joy in my life. So remember that. Write your feelings down on paper, talk to someone Do your best not to feel ashamed and crying, especially men out there. Uh, Also, change your thoughts immediately. And when you see that person or those people, or you're in that particular situation, the most powerful in the universe is love. Do not do bad to evil, but do good to evil. So remember that. Because I have forgiven, I have abundance of joy. I am able to be online like I have. I have a deeper, abiding relationship with people. And if you will go to your scriptures, whatever nationality you are or whatever religion you are, it doesn't matter. They all say the same thing: treat people how you like to be treated. And as this beautiful woman told me one time, Mary Tierney, uh, who died at 100, and I have this little sign in my car that says, do not concentrate on better than nor worse than, only other than. Do not concentrate on better than nor worse than, but other than. I have a little picture of her right in front of me, and she's smiling back at me. Did I get it right, Mary? Just give me a thumbs up. I have a business. I am a motivational speaker. I go to high schools and colleges, business groups. I talk to women's groups, women that are over 40 that may be trying to get back into the business world or just trying to figure out what is best. Also, I'm a life coach. We can figure out how you can find what is important to you in your life, and we can go from there. Plus, I teach meditation. I've been doing meditation for over 40 years. I'm what is called a Reiki master, which is just using, some people call chi or prana, depending on what part of the world you come from. I just take the energy from the universe and put my hands on people, and it helps them heal. I'm not saying it heals people. I'm just saying it's another way or another form to help a person heal. Also, I teach Tibetan breathing to show people how to properly breathe, to bring more prana and chi into your system. Okay. Now, being that I also do, well, now, I go to an acupuncturist. I don't do acupuncture, but I go to an acupuncturist. Just a delightful man. His name, well, I have to get permission from him before I mention his name. Also, I have my daughter. She's a straight A student. She's doing well. She has her issues with physical problems and things like that, but her body is healing. She's happy. And we're getting ready to go to a Harry Styles concert. And good Lord, she wants me to dress up as a sunflower. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to dress up as a sunflower, what we do for our kids. I have a car that's paid for. It's a great car. My income, I have regular income coming in, and my relationships have gotten better. If you go to your scriptures, the Christian scriptures, there's the 10 Commandments. And in the 10 Commandments, the first 4 has to do with our relationship to God. The last 6 are our relationship with others. So, depending on your level of maturity, If you're noticing that you're having great relationships with people, that means you have a great level and amount of emotional maturity. If you're finding that you have poor relationships, that means that you and me still have a lot of work to do, because the little boy within me is still hurt. And this process is continuous. You don't wake up one day and you're done with it. No, by no stretch of imagination. You will continue to work on it. As Mary, I hope. Okay. Anyhow, this great lady, Mary, she was still working on things at 100 years old. She was such a great lady. It just tremendous. So, as I was saying, remember the greatest thing that you could do for yourself is to forgive. Now, if you don't forgive, guess what? You can literally cause your own hurt and harm. And God bless God, He has given me more time. I'm just getting started again. Again. This time, I have more faith in what God is directing me. There's a word, is a German word called Schadenfreude. That's Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude. And what it is, it's the pleasure derived by someone else's misfortune. You remember Stalin used to say, revenge is best served cold? He was what is called a deep narcissist. Now, there are people out there that are called that have empathy narcissists. We all are narcissistic to a certain degree, but a deep narcissist, they only care about themselves and they do not feel pain when they hurt somebody. People that have empathy, narcissistic tendencies, they feel other people's, this ability to relate to another person's pain. And I believe that I am. Now, if you don't forgive all these negative things that I had mentioned to you before, such as fatigue, developing cancer, developing heart disease, but if you learn to forgive, you will have a joyous life. Like, I'm doing what I love to do. And there's one other thing that I want to mention before I close is that when you get angry and get upset with somebody, do what is called an Abraham Lincoln. What he was having, that was Abraham Lincoln, was having trouble with his generals. And he would write a nasty letter, and thank God for not the internet, because this country would be in a different spot where all he had to do was press send. But he would sleep on it. And if he felt differently in the morning, he would tear up the letter. But if he felt the same way, he would send out the letter. So that's what I'm saying. Sleep on your resentment, the anger, because the feelings are too raw. If you go back to that person and say to them, you did this, that, or so, whatever, you could ruin great relationships. So the key is to remember to sleep on it. Now, I will end it by saying this. Do not believe one word I've just said to you. Saying, what? Why are you even speaking? is because what I want you to do is to go out, do your own research. And by doing your own research, you will personalize it for yourself. At least you're questioning. You remember I said about the agnostic and the atheist? You do the same thing. You don't have to believe anything I've said. Go out and do your own research. So I will end it, and I promise I'm ending it every weekly. Well, I should say every week I will be holding a live broadcast. Next week, I will be talking about thinking without ego. Thinking without ego. I will show you how to think so that you will be able to get more out of your conversations that you have with people. And if you break down the word ego, EGO, edging God out. Edging God out. So keep that in mind. Thank you ever so much. May you have many blessings and peace profound. Have a great day.